What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza here, with a brand new video for all you rascals and rapscallions out there. Now today when I'm recording this, it is October 13th, which means we're about halfway through October, and horror movies are in full effect. I see lots of my friends watching some pretty cool flicks, so I figured what better time than now to do a good old-fashioned horror movie collection update video where I'm going to show you guys what I've picked up over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. Bone apple teeth. We are Bojack. First one I picked up, Blood Rage. Now, this is kind of, I would consider this a Thanksgiving horror movie in a way. It's about two kids who are twins back in the day, and they're in a drive-in, and one kid goes and kills somebody in another car near them, and when the cops show up, he blames it on his brother. So like a good twin, an evil twin scenario, just like the Steel Brothers. Figure out which one is an evil twin yourself. But anyways, the one twin that gets locked up ends up getting out of the mental institution or whatnot like 10 years later. On Thanksgiving Day, he returns back to his family home to get revenge. Classic slasher. The next one I got here is one that was actually suggested to me by Jeff Simmons. This is Slime City. After I watched Street Trash, he told me I needed to check this one out, so I picked it up. This also has the sequel that came out, I believe, almost 15 years later, Slime City Massacre. But pretty much, I think it's just some kids who stumble into a New York City apartment, and there's some kind of like virus in there, which turns people into like slime, or whatnot. Don't know too much about it. I just know this is a straight up body horror movie, and I'm a very twisted individual, so I'm excited to watch this. If you know anything about this flick right here, leave a comment and let me know what you think about it. Next, we have a blind buy right here. We have Rotten Tail. I read some reviews online. Pretty much some guy who's a scientist named Peter Cottontail, and he's working with like animals, rabbits and whatnot. Then the government comes in and like fucks up his whole operation. He somehow gets like cross-infected, like the Fly with Jeff Goldblum, and becomes like a rabbit himself. And then he goes around killing people. That's as far as I know about the plot. I know it's kind of like a comedy horror in a lot of ways, but it looked kind of fun. Sometimes I like kind of like funny, raunchy horror movies like this. I'll probably review this around Easter. It just seems right. But if you've seen this one too, let me know, because obviously I don't know too much about this one. Then we have It, Chapter 1. Now, I liked this movie when I first seen it. It wouldn't necessarily be something I'd go out of my way to add to my collection. I only really bought it because I was planning on seeing Chapter 2 until I found out it was 2 hours and 50 minutes long, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like to sit in the movie theater for 3 hours. So, but for $5, I couldn't really pass up the Blu-ray of this. I'm going to wait until Chapter 2 comes out on Blu-ray, because I'm not an asshole who's going to stream it for free. So yeah, this does seem like something I should have in my collection, so there you go. Next, we have another newer one that I heard a lot of good things about. Now, this is Summer of '84. I've heard things that this kind of has like a Goonies, Stranger Thing kind of vibe, and I love movies that are like a throwback to the '80s that are made nowadays, especially if they're done right. And this has like a selection on the Sundance Film Festival, which they're pretty highly regarded, I believe, still. I'm not exactly sure, but pretty much the plot of this, I believe, is some kid believes his neighbor is a serial killer. He's got to get all his friends together to prove that he is. Some kind of wacky adventures ensue. I don't know. I'm excited to check this one out. Looks pretty good. Then we have one right here that another friend of mine has suggested. This would be Tony Case, a.k.a. Loco, who wrestles in MWO. He's one half of the tag team champions with DJ Edwards. But he suggested this Feast for me to watch. Another one I found for like $6 on Amazon, $5-6. And it's actually executive producers Wes Craven, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Chris Moore. So, I mean, sounds pretty good. The plot seems pretty simple, that these people bunker up in a tavern and they're trying to like fight off these monsters or whatnot. But from what Loco was telling me, this shit is absolutely crazy. He says almost like Trauma-esque. So he gave me some spoilers on some wild shit that's going down. So I'm going to have to check this out. If you guys have seen this one, let me know. Then this is another one that I pretty much just bought because I used to see this cover in the video store all the time as a kid. Swamp Thing. Like, looks pretty rad, right? And they had a cooler one back in the day on the VHS. Many cool covers. But this is a Wes Craven movie, I believe. I'm not too into science fiction, so I don't know how much I'm going to like this one. I kind of just impulse bought this one. I'll check it out in time. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about that one. Then, I've told you guys I'm a huge fan of slasher movies. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard that this is like one of the first slasher movies ever really made. Black Christmas. A bunch of sorority girls are having like a little party. The killer comes in, starts slashing them all up. I believe this was released in 1974, so that would be 1974. Yeah, 1974. So that definitely would be one of the first slasher movies, especially if we're considering the original Halloween is the very first slasher, which was released in 1979. So this would literally be half a decade before its time. I mean, so maybe the first slasher, beside if we're not counting like grindhouse films and exploitation films. But yeah, it looks good. Then we got the Maniac. Seems like a pretty cut and dry horror flick. The guy is traumatized as a kid, so he comes to take his vengeance out on random people in New York City. I really don't know much about this. Even the description I read on the back is pretty vague. It just seems like a pretty cut and dry slasher, but this is considered one of the classics, so yeah, I'm going to check it out. Excited to see this one. Now for my next couple films I'm going to show you guys at the same time. These were actually released, it'll be 2 weeks from this Tuesday. So these are newer releases from Arrow Video. We have Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 2. Now, I've praised Scream Factory so much in my videos, but Arrow Video is honestly number 2 in my mind. They put out a lot of good horror, a lot of old releases on Blu-ray, and a lot of new stuff that's pretty good. You can't go wrong with them. They actually, from what I'm aware of, only released these first 2, not the rest of them, which I'm cool with, because honestly, I only really like the original 2, these 2. They're the best. I don't really care for like the super gory, like psychological fantasy kind of like horror films that like what Clive Barker does a lot. But you know, don't get me wrong, I love all the Clive Barker films and I love these 2 Hellraiser films, but I digress. I was ranting. But yeah, I'm not going to say much more about these, because if you don't know about the Hellraiser franchise, come on, man, you got to watch these. At least the first 2. I plan on doing a review of both of these, actually, in the long run, so stay tuned for that. Hellraiser 1 and 2, great films. And then we got one I've never seen also. This is Death Spa. I'm really hoping this one's good, because the last, like, gym-themed horror movie I got was Killer Workout, and it was absolutely terrible. And I don't like to talk negative about films on this channel, or even too negative in general. It's not really worth my energy. That's why I don't review movies I don't like. I pretty much just review the films I really like. So I got high hopes for this one. The artwork on the cover is pretty rad. You got this girl with the skull and this guy getting killed on the machine, good colors and everything. And apparently the plot is some guy who owns the gym, his wife dies and she haunts the gym or something, I believe. But anyways, I know like whoever's haunting this gym is like taking control of all the machines and that's killing people. So that's pretty innovative in a way. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I'm pretty excited to see what they do. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this one, because I have high hopes. I don't want to be disappointed. Microwave Massacre. Once again, another good release from Arrow. Badass cover. Lots of special features, which I should mention Arrow and Scream Factory, Shout Factory always have lots of special features on their Blu-rays. That's why sometimes it's worth it not to just stream everything, because when you get these Blu-rays, these special edition Blu-rays, they have so much extra stuff on it. It's so worth it. Plus, like I said, the artwork on these, maybe I'm just old school, it's so worth it to pick up these movies when they are re-released. You know, this is history. We got to keep the movies alive. But anyways, Microwave Massacre, some guy is annoyed with his wife. He's not getting good meals cooked by his wife, so he solves his problem by killing his wife and eating her. He ends up liking the taste of flesh, so he has to keep killing people to eat them. I don't know where it goes from there, but with a plot like that, it's got to be fun. You know, I meant to watch this a couple weeks ago, but I fell asleep. My bad. Motel Hell. This is one I've never seen. I've literally heard like 50-50 reactions from this. I've heard people say they love it. I've heard people say they hate it. So let me know in the comments if you like or love or dislike or hate. You know, but apparently, you know, just The plot is these old couple have like a motel, but all their guests are getting like planted into this garden, and they end up eating them. Some cannibal shit. It's really out there from what I hear. And once again, the artwork on the cover, unbelievable. Excited to check this one out. I was putting off buying this for so long. Finally get to watch it. The next we got The Burning. Now this is one I already did a classic horror review on. I can leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. But if you like Sleepaway Camp or Friday the 13th, you will love this movie. It is based at a camp. Classic slasher movie. It's got some of the best gore and practical effects you will ever see. Tom Savini does all the work on that. And if you don't know Tom Savini, I don't know what to tell you. One of the greatest of all times when it comes to practical effects, gore, horror, all that stuff. So I highly suggest checking this out. And like I said, if you want to hear more about it, check the link in the description for my full classic horror review on The Burning. Then we have My Name is Bruce. I haven't seen this in probably about 10 years. I love this movie. Definitely comedy horror. Very, very funny. Pretty much some little town has like the samurai kind of like monster come in and start killing people and whatnot. So they have to figure out like who can they count on to help them. They call Bruce Campbell because all his killings and everything, and like the Evil Dead series and everything. So Bruce Campbell comes to this town, think it's like a Comic-Con, like a meet and greet or something, which is really funny about it because Bruce Campbell is so hilarious, such a good actor, so much charisma, and he plays this off the whole time. I think I haven't seen it in a while, so correct me if I'm wrong. I believe like when he first sees the monster, he thinks it's like a prop or something, but I remember the payoff being like when he finally realizes all this is real and it's not just like a rouge, which is absolutely hilarious. I definitely recommend watching this one. Like I'm going to do very soon. I have to rewatch this. And also, I don't mean to keep going on about the cover work and everything, but this is pretty cool. It's got kind of like a holographic look to it, even like the monster, I would say, his eyes. And then you got the one and only Bruce Campbell. Yeah, this, from what I remember, this was a really good movie. I suggest checking this one out. And speaking of badass actors, if you guys have seen my last Blu-ray hunting video, I was pretty disappointed I couldn't find this on Blu-ray. So I had to order it and get it myself. I've heard mixed reviews, but The Dead Don't Die. I bought this based off Bill Murray alone. Badass actors. Bill Murray might be like the coolest fucking person of all time. Fight me. Don't at me. But, yeah, I love zombie movies. They're probably behind slashers. Slashers and zombie flicks are my favorite. And Bill Murray, man. I don't know too much else about this film. Nice little slipcover. Yeah, got a lot of famous actors in it and everything. I'm excited to check this one out. If you've seen this, let me know what you think in the description below or comments below. Oh, I'm mixing everything up. Must be the cage match from last night. By the way, Chambers of Horror happened last night. The IW Halloween show. We had a big cage match that I was involved in. The show was unbelievable. Thank you, Jason Klaus, for providing the cage. Thank you, John Campbell and Dennis Edwards for the platform and IWE. If you guys want to check out IWE, go to IWE Gladiators on YouTube. And if you want to check out the Michigan Wrestling Organization, which Jason Klaus runs, go to MWO Network on YouTube. With that being said, I'm very sore from the cage match, and it's my day off. So I'm thinking, I got a fucking big enough stack of damn movies, so let me figure out which one I'm going to watch. I'm going to lay back and chill, check out a good horror flick, 'cause that's what we do in October. That's what we do all year round as horror fans. I appreciate all you guys' support as always. I know I say it all the time, but really, I wouldn't keep doing this if I didn't get the support from you guys. I do this for fun, but it really matters when I hear your feedback and support. Like 100%. Because this is just something I like. I love horror movies. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about wrestling. And this is a cool little platform for me to have a little fun with you guys. And the support I've got is great. Unbelievable. So, anyways, let me know in the comments what horror movie you're watching tonight. Or which horror movie you're watching this week. Give me some suggestions on some new films I need to get. I know Benjamin Brody and Jared Warren have helped me out a lot. Last night telling me all these good films I got to get. So I got to get on that. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a Have a good Halloween if I don't see you guys. Blood, Guts, Gore. I'll check you guys next time.